Happy Saturday from Val Holler. We're going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to make some ranch seasoning. I'm trying to get back into my low-carb keto lifestyle that I did pre-pandemic, and COVID was not nice to my waistline, so I'm trying to get back at it. And this is one of the things that I keep on hand to add flavor and not carbs. So first thing we're going to start out with is some dried parsley, and the recipe I follow calls for 3 tablespoons. What's in the jar actually is what I dried out of my AeroGarden. I like to keep the stuff trimmed back, so that we're going to add that first and get that out of the way. A little bit more than that. 1, 2, and 3. Next is a tablespoon of dried dill weed. This is also from my AeroGarden. This little bit is here, which looks to be quite a bit of it, but still not quite enough. Let me get a smaller spoon out to put into the store-bought stuff so that I can finish out this tablespoon. You can see the difference. Look at the difference in color from the commercially dried to what I cut in my own kitchen in my AeroGarden and dried here. There's about a tablespoon. Tablespoon of dried dill weed. Next, a tablespoon of granulated garlic. Mine is more of a powdered garlic. I buy mine in bulk from the local Mennonite store. And it's more powder than granulated, but that's alright. There's a tablespoon of garlic. Next is the onion powder. It's already smelling good in here. Next is a teaspoon of black pepper. And yes, I have a giant thing of pepper because every house should have pepper. I'm going to make it a heaping teaspoon because I like pepper. Next is 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm using some fine grained pink Himalayan that I have. And no, I'm not a salt snob, but I do have different salts for different purposes. Canning salt, iodize, etc., etc. This just happened to be the one I pulled out of the pantry today. So there's 1 and 2. The original recipe doesn't call for any thyme, but I like thyme in my ranch, just saying. So, this is a ½ teaspoon measurement. I'm going to start with a ½ teaspoon of thyme in there. If I think it needs more, I can add more. Because you can always add 2, but you can't take away. And I'm putting this in the spice grinder, which is a coffee grinder, but I have one for coffee, one for spices. The reason I do that is because like the parsley flakes and things like that are a lot bigger chunks than what the powder is, and I like for it to be even. So we're just going to pulse this up a few times. And that's it. I'm going to let that sit so that the powder doesn't come out into the air. I'm not on camera today because I have some bad sinus issues. As always, welcome spring for Valerie. And my face is kind of swelled, so you don't want to see that. But this is powdery. This is my ranch seasoning. Y'all can see there. There it is. And I will grab a funnel and put this in a jar. Now, to use this ranch seasoning, I mix a tablespoon of this. The original recipe calls for 1/3 cup of mayo and 1/4 cup of buttermilk, and that is beautiful For low carb, of course, milk has carbs in it, so I usually replace that with a little bit of almond milk and a dash of vinegar, which is not going to curdle it because it's almonds and not regular milk, but it gives it the zing. Or I just leave that out altogether and do 1/3 of a cup of mayo and make it thick. You can do half mayo, half sour cream if you're looking for a little bit different in consistency. But I do a tablespoon. If you leave out the buttermilk or the almond milk vinegar mixture, you can go up to a half a cup on the mayo sour cream rate, whichever one, or the ratios of what you want, instead of 1/3 of a cup just to add the extra. But this is it. I'm actually just going to stick it right back in the jar that I had the dried parsley in. And I'll keep it and use it, and I don't have to worry about fillers or monosodium glutamate or anything like that, and I can always, like I said, when I taste it, if I don't like it, I can add to it later. But I can always add more or less depending on the flavor of what I want, so I don't have to depend on Hidden Valley all the time for my ranch seasoning. So I'll put the recipe in the comments below, and if you like my video, like and subscribe to my channel. And we will see you on the next one. Have a good one.